We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing this. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Vergil's Son. This is part 7, and I know you may be wondering, why am I bringing this back so soon? Originally, I was going to wait at least a couple weeks from now to upload a new part for this. However, I decided, since Death Battle is doing a battle between Clive versus Dante for this week of Death Battle, I decided, hell, why the hell not? And basically keep this trend going. Probably in the next couple of days, expect that of, well, either Mythos Will or that of Ifrit Deku. Possibly either one of those two. I can't say for sure. I'm still debating. Depends on what I put for the short. At any rate, with all that said, let's go with that of a pretty short recap. In the last part, Izuku met that of Ibara Shirazaki, who originally thought that he was a demon, but is actually a descendant of her lord and savior, the Dark Knight Sparta, and has now become part of the team, and even explaining about that as a subsect of the Order of the Sword that left Fortuna. Not to mention, Izuku ended up getting his UA entrance letter and got the highest score, with Nero planning on giving that of Izuku a present for getting into UA and a goodbye present as well. However, that present was soon put on hold when that of a devil that was actually a kappa that Izuku spared when Nero and Izuku fought together for the first time in Japan, as he evolved into basically becoming a devil kappa, with wanting to fight Izuku one-on-one as a pride of staying on his honor, as Izuku gave it his all, even showing off a few new tricks, being his new style, based off Nero being his Devil Bringer style, even gaining a new devil arm, as this being Irasuru, with taking out the rest of the Kappas pretty easily, with not only that, as Nero and Nico's goodbye gift for that of Izuku and the others being a branch of Devil May Cry, as they purchased a warehouse, furnished it, and everything for Izuku and the others to keep the family business going no matter what, here in Japan, but on legal means though. With now Devil May Cry having a strong foothold within Japan, with the Sparta brothers separating from each other, but never apart. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? It's been a few weeks since that of Nero and Nico leaving Masafu in Japan altogether to head back to Redgrave City. As for Izuku and the new business of Devil May Cry, let's just say business has been quite slow, actually. Sure, they still kill demons here and there and helping out while they can, especially certain demons that just wander around trying to cause trouble for people, mainly in that of their self-respected cities like Masafu and Shinomu, where Ibara is lives in after all. But other than that, they haven't got that many clients, especially none of the clients that they want to get, like that of pro heroes who are aware of demons and are basically out of their league on taking on after all. But little did they know, pro heroes are way too prideful to admit that they are basically out of their depth, unless that involves, well, something completely out of their depth. They still have the same old commoner and same old clients that deal with that of demons after all. However, the number one reason on why nobody takes them seriously or they haven't gained any new clients is because Izuku's screaming out, "They see us as nothing but kids?" Currently at that of the Devil May Cry warehouse base with May basically in their own makeshift garage, basically tinkering with that of new, well, support gears for Izuku and the others. Izuku, Ibara, and Toga are currently in that of Izuku's office on that of the second floor, with Toga saying, "That's the gist of it. Some people are aware of what you're capable of, Izu, but a large majority don't really see it that way." With then Ibara saying, "In simpler terms, they don't trust us because they think that we're kids. If Lord Nero and Miss Nico were here, people would have probably taken us seriously if they were still here, but within Izuku saying, unfortunately they're not. And they see us as basically a bunch of kids who are out of our depth or don't know what the hell we're doing." We still have the same old clients that we did have before everything happened, but now since Nero and Nico are gone, the clients that we did gain don't even trust us to handle it. Not to mention, with then an explosion happens downstairs, with many of them not even flinching, as they've gotten so used to that of May's explosions. Within, in the distance, they can hear, "Everything's okay," from May, before huffing, saying they see us as basically immature kids. Within saying, "Himiko, could you already on it?" as she leaves out of the office, before looking down saying, not this bad, not this bad this time. Just a little bit of soot marks around the furniture this time. With that, she soon goes downstairs, with Ibara saying, "Lord Izuku, look, I'm not too broken up by this. Luckily, the building was already fully paid for, so we don't need to pay rent or anything like that. However, we still need to pay for other stuff like that of electricity and even that of the water bill." With Ibara saying, "I'm aware. I've also told that of father about that of, well, the new Devil May Cry shop here, and he's been one of the biggest supporters. Many of the people who would normally see him and a few others who are still loyal to that of Lord Sparta have now come to us." But within, she basically scratching the back of her vines. Luckily, her skin and basically hands are resistant to that of the sharpness of her thorny vine hair after all. Within saying, "However, we're planning on going into UA, and we might not have the time and duties, especially in between that of classes, while in classes, to take care of the demons. And that's the biggest problem." Within leaning back in that of annoyance and huffing, saying, "Damn it. That's always the biggest deal breaker to taking care of these damn demons. And if we don't take care of them sooner than later, they're just going to continue wandering around and basically cause a lot of innocent people to suffer." What a pain in the ass. With Ibara finally taking a seat in front of Izuku's desk, saying, "Lord Izuku, all we need to do is just continue what you're doing, just as your grandfather, Lord Sparta, has always wanted for humanity to prosper and be free from the scourge of demonic kind that could lord over them at any time. May do it on a small degree, but it's still on that of a level that his lordship would want us to continue moving forward." With Izuku basically looking at that of the so-called follower of his grandfather and realizing, you know what, you're right, but still, outside of doing the right thing, and which I always appreciate doing no matter how bad it may screw me over, this place still needs that of money to keep it going. After everything Nico and Nero did for me, I don't want to put all their good faith and basically just ruin this place already, after all. With then hearing this, Ibara saying, maybe we can find somebody else that can take care of this place while we're in UA. With then Izuku saying, Himiko's here. Within, Ibara is about to say something before Izuku realized, no, wait, right. Before you say anything, Ibara, you're absolutely right. She's literally the same age as us, and definitely nobody would take her seriously. Not to mention, she's still a wanted villain too, because of her actions at her old school after all. Yeah, forgot about that. I just remembered. So we need somebody else to run this place while we're at UA, and she's, well, still in hiding. Within, the two basically come to think about it before realizing they have nothing. Within, Izuku saying, you know what, thinking about this is just going to be causing nothing but unnecessary headaches. Let's just call it a night. I don't think we're going to get any more calls after all. With then hearing that, Ibara sighing, saying, I agree, absolutely agree. I know for sure that our Lord and even Lord Sparta will guide us, will give us a sign, will aid us in our hour of need. As lights begin to come down onto that of Ibara, even though they're literally indoors, Izuku with a look of still complete and utter befuddlement and shock, still mentally thinking to himself, how the hell does she do that? As it's one of the biggest mysteries that Izuku wants to figure out, outside of just her quirk alone. As they begin to close up shop, with Mei already heading out to the train station alongside Ibara, with Izuku looking at Himiko, saying, you're gonna be okay, Himiko? I know you said that you prefer staying here. With then she's saying, oh, it's all fine, Izu. I appreciate your mom helping me out and letting me have a place to stay, but I think it's best if I stay here, mostly for a peace of her own mind. Then Izuku saying, look, if it's about that of what you did to your classmate, she's aware that, saying, I know, it's not that, it's mainly. Within, Izuku putting two and two together with a deadpan look and a look of pure and utter red cheeks on his face, saying, she's afraid that you're going to deflower me, isn't she? Within, Himiko just gives off that of a toothy grin of her canines with her eyes closed, saying, with Izuku huffing, saying, man, I don't understand women. But Himiko basically laughing to herself, with Izuku saying, just have a good night. Saying, you too, Izu. Before she closes up and the entire warehouse now goes dark. Little did Izuku and the others know, a certain somebody would end up coming near that of the shop, but realizing that it was already too late. As they walk away, the very next day, Izuku is getting ready for UA, as he has that of his school uniform on. He has his red shoes on and everything, yellow bag. But Inko saying, you made sure to gather all your school supplies, saying, yes, you didn't just put your action figures in your backpack this time. Within, Izuku getting annoyed saying, Mom, I'm not a kid anymore, and I only did that once. With her giving a deadpan look, with Izuku saying, okay, only 5 times, but who's counting? With Inko already having tears well up in her eyes, with a smile saying, Izuku. Within, saying, I'm so proud of you. Within, Izuku saying, thanks, Mom. With her saying, and I know Vergil would be proud of you too. Within, Izuku hearing his father's name saying, yeah, I guess he would. As he opens the door, within, having that of a surprise, or not too surprising, as it being Ibara saying, my lord Izuku, I have been waiting for you. Within, Izuku saying, God, Ibara, how long have you been waiting there? Within, she's saying, at least an hour or so, saying, God damn it. As Ibara came from that of her own home city, inside and within that of Tokyo, to that of Masafu. Even though UA is also in Masafu, she had to basically take that of multiple train rides just to get here. Given that Izuku has to take the train, unlike when he was at Aldera, where you can just take a few street corners just to get to school. Since UA is basically on the other side of the city. leaving Izuku somewhat annoyed, not at himself or at Ibara, but mainly at the fact on how devoted she is to him through that of his grandfather. One awkward train ride later, with Izuku and Ibara now arriving at UA High, with Ibara still completely under shock at that at the massive school, with Izuku basically having that of a cocky smile, saying, looks, it's time to start my journey to be a hero. Then Ibara actually smiling at Izuku, with Izuku commenting saying, I was originally believing that I was going to have to do this all by myself, do this journey all about alone to be a hero, and maybe develop friendships and partnerships on the way, but I think I wouldn't start it alone after all. With Izuku looking at Ibara, with Ibara basically blushing at Izuku, as she smiles back saying, we're always here for you, my lord. But then Izuku saying, yeah, thanks, Ibara. With that, they both walk in. However, having to separate from each other, given that Ibara's in Class 1B, while Izuku's in Class 1A. Within, thinking to himself, knowing my luck, I'm most definitely going to have to be in the same classroom as that of Kachan, no matter how much I want to get away from that of the walking Pomeranian. Then there's that other guy with the glasses. 50-50 chances he'll probably be in Class 1B or Class 1A, but with Izuku trying his best trying to comfort himself, but deciding to just say screw it and take chances with it, and as soon as he does, he slides the door open within, hearing that of two people arguing with each other, as it being Bakugo and Iida, just like in canon, mainly about that of Bakugo having his feet on the desk, and Bakugo ignoring him and even threatening him about saying how he has a stick up his ass. With Izuku realizing, yep, my luck sucks. With Izuku planning on entering and out of the classroom as he takes his first step. With then, Iida soon noticed that of Izuku alongside Bakugo and everybody else in the class. As Izuku was about to head to his desk, within, Izuku was stopped by Iida saying, hold there for a bit. But then, Izuku saying, look dude, if you're going to basically criticize me or something, just drop. Before then, he basically bows his head. With then, Izuku raising an eyebrow and that a complete and utter shock. I wish to apologize about that at the entrance exam. I should have known that you were actually paying more attention. To think that you knew about that at the rescue points. For that, I am truly sorry for criticizing you. With then, Izuku saying, wait, you're apologizing? Wow, I thought for sure with that stick up your ass that you wouldn't apologize for shit. With then, for some reason, Bakugo couldn't help but basically chuckle to himself in quiet, but not wanting to admit it, that it was kind of funny from Izuku. With then, Iida saying, yes, apologies for being so stiff. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Iida Tenya, dude. You already told Kachan over there. With Bakugo growling being acknowledged by that of Izuku, with Izuku saying, name's Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you, dude. And see, good to know that you don't have much of a stick up your ass, but only half of a stick up your ass. With then, Iida saying, such profanity. You say it so casually. Just say it how I see it. Nothing more, nothing less. With then, somebody else coming through the door saying, hey, I know you, light-haired boy. With then, Izuku saying, yo, debris girl, right? With then, she couldn't help but say, as she laughs it off a little bit, but in embarrassment saying, yeah. Oh, and I guess I should introduce myself. It's Ochako Uraka, since I never did. Izuku Midoriya. At least I now know on who the girl I saved was. Nice to meet you. And we're in the same class. Cool, huh? With her basically a lot more bubbly, pumping up her arms saying, yeah, it is. I'm excited as well. With Izuku, as his smile basically dims a little bit, as he's aware of a certain someone already behind the door. As before that, the person speaks saying, Man, it would real suck knowing we have a teacher who basically was here all the time and yet didn't say anything or something. Gee, that would be real bad. It would basically prove I have a low opinion of some of the teachers here. With then everybody in the class kind of confused on why Izuku said all that, especially in such a sarcastic and deadpan tone. With then Iida saying, Midoriya, why would you say such a thing? We don't even know about our... With Sid saying, dude, you can get your ass out. Seriously. Your presence concealment is pretty lackluster. With Izuku really meaning that, because again, when you have somebody like Toga, who has the ability to conceal her presence way better, and is even so good that it could even fool that of demon senses. And the guy who's basically concealing his presence is basically on a newbie level compared to her. But then you can hear a huff from the hallway before you can hear that of a zipper, as then seeing that of a long, messy black hair with a 5 o'clock shadow, a black jumpsuit, and that of his hands, that of a yellow sleeping bag. With then huffing saying, so you knew I was here all this time, and yet instead of basically calling me out automatically, you just decided to make a spectacle of it after all. Within, Izuku just couldn't help but shove his shoulder saying, hey, don't make it too obvious. And to be honest, I could tell you're one of those people that try to make a point about stuff. Or we can basically get stuff done or get on with it, what you need to say. With then, hearing that, the man couldn't help but sigh in annoyance, but also sigh in somewhat, relief as well, saying, well then, if you must know, I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. With everybody in the class kind of confused, with some people saying, hey, I thought we were going to have a pro hero for a teacher. I guess they just have regular people, but why have a regular person who's not a pro hero be a homeroom teacher of us? With then Izuku saying, Shota Aizawa. Why does that name sound so familiar? As Izuku is basically in his own thoughts, with then saying, come, put these on. These are going to be your gym uniforms for here on a UA. Meet me at that of the training field in 20 minutes. I won't have any tardies. Got it? Within, everybody completely confused as he soon basically walks off. Within, realizing he ain't coming back, realizing, nope, he's definitely serious. With everybody getting out of their seats and heading straight out of the classroom. At least at 15 minutes later, they arrive on the training field. Within, Aizawa realizing, good, you're all here on time. Tardiness is wasted time that we can use to be more productive. With then Ochako raising her hand saying, but sir, what about the orientation ceremony? Aren't we going to miss it? With then Aizawa huffing saying, you're training to become heroes. You don't have time to be wasting on such fruitless and pointless time. Within, Izuku raising an eyebrow saying, how is that pointless? Normally, if I recall, orientation, assemblies like that are normally to understand on what UA is made for. Not to mention, if I recall, it's also supposed to be where it's supposed to inform us about that important facilities for the school. Are we supposed to basically figure this shit out on the way we go? Glad that Nero isn't here. If he was here, he would basically call out the guy on his bullshit. Within, narrowing his eyes at that Izuku, not even paying attention or caring, as he couldn't help but basically have that of a look of annoyance before then saying, we're going to be having a Quirk apprehension test. I'm going to be seeing on what you all place at currently here and now. Within, looking at that of Bakugo saying, you, Bakugo, what was your highest score in ball throw at your junior high school? With Bakugo nonchalantly with his hands in his pocket saying, I don't know, at least out of 25 meters, give or take. Within, hearing that, he soon tosses a ball towards Bakugo saying, throw this using your quirk, but make sure you stay out of the circle to do so. Within, hearing that, Bakugo couldn't help but have that of a grin. Well, forward then, he goes to the circle as he soon as he soon rubs the ball around out of the palms of his hands, saying, I'll create a powerful explosion. Something so powerful that it'll make their jaws drop. Not to mention, within, thinking about Izuku, as he, basically glances at that of the white-haired, green-eyed teen, who's not even phased, or is basically just looking around boredly, with Bakugo gritting his teeth, within soon saying, Die! As he throws the ball with all of his might, with even propelling it even further with the nitroglycerin sweat off the palm of his hands, and to go even far, with his score being that of 246 meters, with everybody completely utterly shocked, with some people holding their ears, with Izuku basically raising an eyebrow saying, Die? Seriously? I thought he grew out of screaming that edgy crap. Guess not. With then, soon, Aizawa saying, This is what I want you all to do. Show what you're capable of with that of your quirks during this test. Do I make myself clear? With then, everybody getting excited. Well, select few within, a few of them could help say, So we're get to use our quirks? As a guy with that of blonde hair and a lightning bolt, with then a girl with that of pink skin and pink messy hair, with that of yellow horns and that of blackened eyes. Golden Iris is saying, This is gonna be so much fun. Within, Izuku could feel like a shift in the air, like pure malice. Within, seeing where that malice came from that of their homeroom teacher. But then realizing, oh shit, he's one of those teachers. With Aizawa basically chuckling a bit, saying, Fun, you say? You really think training to become a hero is all fun and games? That you're all going to be hanging out with friends after school, spending time together and all that? No, this is far from that. Because of that little comment, how about all of you aren't taking this seriously, how about this? Person who comes in that of last place will be expelled from the hero course. Within hearing all that, everybody is completely and utterly shocked by this. Within, Ochako saying, No way, you can't do this! Within, Aizawa saying, UA has its own teaching style. We can choose on how we run or basically teach our classes any way we see fit. That even means expelling students as well. Meaning I'll expel the one who has no talent. Within hearing that, everybody can help but basically speak out their opinions, especially Ochako, with her saying, But you can't do that, we all work so hard to get into UA, it's not fair. Within, Aizawa, narrowing his eyes a bit, saying, Not fair, you say? Tell me, what do you think is fair? Do you think that being a hero is fair? That what we do is basically always going to be fair? What we heroes are always meant to do is to fight, is to save people. We go against that of natural disasters, power-hungry villains. You believe all of this is fair? Far from it. This is what our duty as heroes is to do, is to combat that unfairness, no matter what comes our way. It's your duty to basically go beyond your limits, go beyond what you're capable of. Go plus ultra. That is our school's motto. And I better see all of you do it. As he looks at everybody, lingers onto that of Izuku even more, with Izuku raising an eyebrow, and that's of speculation. With that, the quirk apprehension test basically goes pretty well for everybody. However, the only difference is Izuku doesn't basically, struggle that much, mainly because of him being a quarter demon after all. So basic, like the 40-yard dash and all that, he gets pretty easily due to his basic speed alone, and not even going all out to need to anyway. And there's basically the long jump where, again, he basically clears pretty damn easily because he's jumped pretty high before, easily. Then there's the side steps where, again, he doesn't beat Mineta, of course, but he does at least get pretty high up after all. Then there's the grip strength test, which, again, he passes pretty easily, of course. Then you have the endurance run, where again everybody is basically using their quirks to try and, well, see how long they can hold out. Izuku, on the other hand, being again a quarter demon, holds out longer because of his long stamina intake. Hell, even keeping up with that of Momo when she uses that of her creation quirk to, well, create that of an electric power scooter. With Aizawa being annoyed at the fact that the two are not stopping, basically just telling them to stop anyway. Then you have just the basic exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups and all that. And last but not least, that of the ball throw for everybody else. Where, of course, Ochako gets first because of her infinite score with basically removing the gravity from the ball itself. All that's left is Izuku. With Izuku basically just a little bit bored, tosses the ball around a little bit. Before then, looks like he's about to give that of a pitch throw, with then throwing the ball as hard as he can with that of his demonic strength. However, he basically gets that of 127 meters, which isn't half bad actually, but it doesn't surpass that of Bakugo, with Bakugo basically laughing that Deku couldn't even get any higher than him. With Izuku basically just a little bit not even caring anyway, as he walks back to the line. Within, Aizawa looking at that of Izuku as he narrows his eyes a bit, with that of his eyes glowing red for a split second. With Izuku noticing this, thinking that he was a demon, as he was just about to bring out that of his demonic katanas, but realized there's no demonic pressure coming around him. And thinking, nah, he's using his quirk. Then that really means he is a racerhead. Looks like my guess was right on the money, of course. With then, Izuku gets back in line with Ochako congratulating him alongside Iida. With then, as the test finally comes to an end, with Aizawa saying, instead of showing what you all did individually in that of each test, I'll show you all what you've made overall. With then showing each person's scores, with first place being that of Momo, second place being Shoto, third place being Bakugo, fourth place being Izuku, fifth place being Tokoyami, sixth Iida, and so on and so forth, with last place being Minoru Mineta. Within hearing all of it, seeing this, the boy known as Mineta, with that of purple balls for his head, and basically one of the shortest in that of the class, say, no way, this isn't fair. I didn't even get a chance to even show what I'm really capable of. My dreams of being a hero to be cool and getting all the ladies is ruined now. With then everybody couldn't help but cringe a little bit. Well, some couldn't help but say that's kind of understandable. Surprisingly, Izuku being on that level of trying to get all the ladies understandable. With then Aizawa saying, Midoriya, pack up your things. You're out of the hero course. With then hearing that, everybody's completely shocked. However, except Izuku, as he couldn't help but basically scoff a bit. With then Iida saying, but Mr. Aizawa, you said it that the person who had the last score would basically be removed from the hero course, not the other way around. Within Momo basically speaking up as the spiked ponytailed girl, basically saying, but I thought it was all just a lie. You were joking. It was just basically a ploy to make us give it our all, right? Within, Aizawa saying, not necessarily. I wanted you to basically give it all your all. That meant every last one of you. And the one who I see that has no potential whatsoever is you, Midoriya. You were holding back entirely. You barely even show what you're even capable at all. You barely even use your quirk. Within, Izuku saying, because I don't have a quirk. Within, everybody completely shocked, with even Aizawa saying, care to explain? Saying, like I said, I don't have a quirk. I have no quirk whatsoever. Within, Aizawa pinching the bridge of his nose before huffing, saying, we saw you during the entrance exam. You had to have, that's not my quirk. It's power, but it's definitely not a quirk. Within, hearing this, Izuku saying, look, if you're just going to expel me for being some kind of biased dumbass because I refuse to show my power because you said this was a quirk apprehension test, not a skill or power apprehension test, then I'm not wasting my time with something so stupid. And seriously, wasting our time with this stupid test when we should be at that of the, assembly, that of the entrance ceremony, where we should probably know about that at the facility at being a hero, where we're going to be being at for the next 3 years. Like, I don't know, where to know where the goddamn guidance counselor is in case, I don't know, some of us have a nervous breakdown due to the stress of being a hero, training to become heroes, like that. Then Aizawa saying stuff like that is unnecessary. If you can't handle the pressure, then with Izuku cutting him off saying, and that's what I expect from a second-class underground hero who couldn't even take down a vigilante 10 years ago. Then Aizawa hearing that, as he almost felt like a vein just popped for a bit, reminding him about a certain incident 10 years ago in the city of Narahara, with that of a specific vigilante that had that of an All Might hoodie, within saying, seriously, you think I'm wasting my energy and strength on something so basically dismal when you're a teacher? You should already be aware of our quirks and abilities. You're just going to expel me because I'm not going to waste my precious energy on something so fruitless when it's not even part of the curriculum? Please. If you're going to expel me, just expel me. Don't make a freaking show out of it. But I'll let you know this, Aizawa, without warning, using that of his inner soul style, as he brings out that of his demonic katana, Kiba, unsheathing it so quickly without even basically using his hands, as he basically just uses that of his thumb, the slingshot that of his sword to that of Aizawa. And that of a blink of an eye, using that of his Dark Slayer style, he soon already grabs the sword and moving so quickly that Aizawa didn't even have time to react, with that of the sword right next to his neck, with Aizawa still completely in shock alongside everybody else in Class 1A. Soon everybody completely freaked out and shocked. Even Bakugo couldn't help but wonder what the hell just happened, with seeing that of Izuku's sword to that of their teacher's neck as he was about to react. However, Izuku saying, if you want to expel me, expel me. Don't hold this bullshit excuse. They're basically saying I don't have any talent, or if I'm holding myself back. I only go all out when it's necessary. When a person's life is in danger. When people's lives are what matter the most. I don't waste my time with basically pointless dick measuring contests to see on who's the strongest in a class where we just started after all. We'll save that for hero training. But for this is just a waste. Basically removing the sword, saying, just let you know, if you really do want me to be gone from here, if I will go vigilante. And if you do fight against me, unlike the crawler, I won't hold anything back. Sheathing that of his sword, as he soon walks off. Aizawa feeling like he's about to make the biggest mistake of his life, but deciding to grit his pride and teeth and say, Midoriya, you're not expelled. Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, oh, I'm not? What changed your mind, Teach? With somewhat of a smug and actual questioning smile. Him sighing, saying, just like you said, you see this as a waste of your time, and judging you by basically how motivated you are, and something that you would see as a dick measuring contest, the waste of your time when you haven't shown what you're truly capable of and when it needs to be. So for that, I won't expel you. However, showing as he soon flings his scarf at that of Izuku, Izuku basically dodged out of the way multiple times with his Dark Slayer style, moving so quickly that his scarf couldn't even touch Izuku. However, he brings down parts of his scarf down to that of around Izuku's arms to trap him. However, Izuku doesn't even phase as he soon brings out that of Soryu as well, as he uses both his demonic katanas to cut off the strands without even breaking a sweat at the same time. With that, he soon sheaths the swords quite easily. Within, soon Izuku saying, that's when I basically go all out. Well, I'm only using 20% of what I'm capable of, but who's counting? With that, Aizawa seeing the cut strands of his capture scarf, realizing those swords, they're definitely not normal swords if they're able to cut through that of my capture scarf. With everybody else in the class completely and utterly dumbfounded and shocked that Izuku was holding their own against that of a so-called pro hero, an underground pro at that. However, Bakugo on the other hand, seeing Izuku nonchalantly take on that of their teacher so easily, as he could care less about who their teacher is, but he's doing it in a way that he doesn't even care. Almost like he's still at that of Aldera, like nothing phases him, nothing matters to him, no matter what. And even finding out that he's been holding back all this time pisses him off. Within, Bakugo couldn't help but basically lose it as his temper flares up saying, "Damn you, Deku!" As he soon runs towards Izuku, explosions popping in the palm of his hand saying, "Stop looking down on us, you damn!" Within, without warning, that's when Aizawa basically uses his quirk and his capture scarf on Bakugo, within saying, "Let go, what the hell?" As he tries using his quirk, realizing, I can't use my quirk, damn it! Aizawa saying, "That's because I'm canceling your quirk out, Bakugo." Within saying, ladies and gentlemen, everybody welcome the underground hero, Eraserhead. He's not really friendly to that of the paparazzi and to that of the media, but when it comes to doing his job, he has basically just as much as success rate as you would think of anybody from the top 10 pros. The only downside of being an underground hero, though, is that you can't be part of the hero rankings, and you're out of the media limelight after all. With then, soon, as Bakugo was enraged, he still heard everything that Izuku said about him being an underground pro on the same level as a top 10 pro. Within, he couldn't help but get annoyed at this, saying, "Bakugo, enough." With Bakugo realizing that Aizawa isn't going to give him back his quirk and let him go unless he calms down, which was easier said than done for the, raging Pomeranian. Which then he finally calms down. Aizawa soon saying, "Good, now get back in line and stop acting and stop overusing your quirk too much. It gives me dry eye." With then everybody can help a comment saying, "That is one annoying weakness." With Izuku saying, "That's the drawback for when it comes to having powerful quirks like that. To cancel and nullify any type of quirk by looking at a person. It doesn't work on mutation quirks, and it definitely doesn't work on that of demonic powers such as my own, like my styles and my devil arms. Even my demon physiology doesn't be affected by that of his quirk. Because of this, I know that I was able to handle him pretty easily." Within, Aizawa saying, "Well, that's enough for today. You're all dismissed, and head back to your classroom and grab that of a syllabus. Everything that you would miss from that of the assembly this morning will be on that packet. Make sure that you look over it." With then, looking at that of Izuku when he said all that, with Izuku basically whispering, saying, "Oh, now it makes sense." But still, this is stuff that I feel like the principal and the other faculty should have done outside of just us learning from a freaking paper. As Izuku walks away, with even Aizawa basically walking away from his students as he heads to the faculty office. However, a certain someone was keeping an eye on them saying, "Already planning on picking favorites, All Might?" Within, All Might saying, "Haha, logical rules you say? I'm surprised that you didn't expel everybody in the class, but you really did single out that of young Midoriya there. Care to explain why?" Within, Aizawa basically looking at that of at All Might. However, he almost looks like he's reminiscing about something that happened years ago, as he basically remembers himself laying on the ground, almost in a pool of his own blood, capture scarf basically all cut up into ribbons, with a man, and that's of a blue trench coat, with a katana in his hands, with slicked back spiked hair, saying, "Waste of my time." As then, Aizawa getting out of the memory saying, "He just reminded me of somebody, that's all." "What about you? What are you even doing here? Shouldn't you be going over that of the curriculum after all?" With then, All Might still giving off his trademark smile saying, "Well, you see, I was a little bit curious. Wondering if you're going to expel your entire class and give them the black mark before re-enrolling them the next day. Can't help but be a little bit worried given that in our country, black marks, even just one expulsion, could be that of life and death for that of students here." Within, Aizawa saying that's the very reason that black mar is a symbol of their death and that of the hero career. Nothing more, nothing less. Plus, don't forget, Nezu gets rid of their black marks right after they graduate, so it doesn't really affect them. They're overreacting over nothing. With that, he walks away, with All Might on the other hand still smiling, but looking back at that of Class 1A, as even though he's farther out, he can still see Izuku saying, "Even your attitude, and you may seem similar to him, but you have some differences, young Midoriya. By any chance, are you related to Dante?" With Izuku getting on out of his school uniform, with classes ending quite quicker than usual, as he's about to head back, wanting to go straight for that of his shop. That's, however, two people ask, "Hey, Midoriya!" With then, as being Ochako and Iida, saying, "Hey, Iida, Uraka, you guys heading to that of the train station?" With then, Ochako saying, "Uh-huh. I was wondering if you wanted to tag along with us." With Izuku saying, "Sure. Besides, I gotta head to that shop before I head back home anyway." With then, Iida saying, "Shop? What do you mean shop?" With then, Izuku saying, "Oh, yeah, I have a family shop actually. It's a business, it's a family-owned business." With Ochako hearing this saying, "Oh, you have a family business too? I do as well." With Izuku saying, "Oh, no fooling? What do you guys do?" With Ochako explains that they are a construction company. With Iida saying, "That's a pretty noble profession, especially in this day and age when a lot of fights between heroes and villains do cause a lot of collateral damage." With Ochako saying, "Yeah, but business isn't so good right now." You too, huh?" With then Ochako saying, "What about you?" As he was thinking about trying to figure out something that he can use as a cover from killing demons, as of course they'll probably think he's crazy, or they probably think that again he's definitely crazy. With then saying, "We're a service shop. We are basically an odd job shop. Do jobs here and there, help out in the community, stuff like that. We go all around across Japan, mainly in that of the Kanto region actually. So." With then Iida saying, "I see. That's a well-respected job, but I have to say, Midoriya, is it true that you don't have a quirk?" With then Izuku saying, "It's complicated. I do have something, but it's not a quirk. If you want to know, you're gonna have to get to know me more, as we're just classmates." With Iida saying, "I understand." With then soon somebody saying, "Hey, Muscles!" With then realizing, oh great, "Hey, May." With then she trips. Before then, she basically falls onto that of Izuku again. With that of his two classmates completely and utterly shocked by this. However, it makes that of Uraka blush alongside Iida, because again, May's breast right in front of Izuku's face, saying, "Why does this always happen?" as he's muffled screaming this. With then she's saying, "I don't know, but Sensei did say to keep on doing it to you to understand a little bit." So with then saying, "I'm gonna kill that woman the next time I see her." With then looking at his two newest classmates saying, "Oh, right, totally forgot. Iida, Uraka, this is my friend, and who also works at that of my family business. With her saying, name's Mei Hatsune. Pleasure to meet you. Oh, you're in that of muscles class? That means you're going to be hero students. I'll let you know, I plan on becoming the world's greatest support inventor. With Iida raising an eyebrow saying, wait, a support inventor? For a odd shop business? With then Izuku realizing, yeah, actually. She does all of her custom orders, help out while we can. If we can't always do it ourselves, then we make custom support gear for people. Isn't that right, May? With Ben, she completely oblivious to what's going on before Izuku saying, they don't know that we kill demons. Play along, girl. With Ben saying, ooh, right, definitely. You got your muscles. Saying, yeah, I make support gears for others. Give them a chance to improve and help out if we can't. Stuff like that. With Ben saying, come on, muscles, we gotta get to the shop. Saying, hey, stop pulling. I'm coming. Jeez. As she's basically pulling around Izuku, grabbing him by his hand. With even Uraka saying, they're pretty close, don't you think? With you saying, I hope not too close. I mean, this could be a problem for him if he plans on being a hero. However, I did want to talk to Midoriya about his actions towards our teacher, though. With Ochako saying, I don't know. I think it might have been justified, but I won't lie. It was a little scary, to be honest. But also cool at the same time, showing that he's standing his ground no matter what. With then Iida saying, if you say so. As they arrive at the train station, with Iida and Ochako leaving out of there, with Izuku and Mei heading off. Within, Izuku realizing, think about it. I wanted to know where Ibara is. She normally would have tagged along with us since classes ended early after all. Within, pulling out his phone, realizing that he did get a message from Ibara, saying that her classmates wanted to get to know each other, so they're already heading to that of a cafe nearby in town before they all head back home. Seeing the message, he can't help but sigh, but also think maybe it's best that she has friends outside of just us. With it also gives him some time to relax away from her worshiping him after all. With Mei muttering to herself and basically commenting on the new babies that she plans on making. They soon enter and out of the shop, with then soon saying, hey, Himiko, you doing okay? Saying, oh, hey, Izu, we have somebody here wanting to see you. With them saying, you get a client? I'll let you handle that, Muscles, while I'll be doing what I normally do. With Izuku basically having a look of pure and utter, deadpanness, saying, yeah, do what you always do, Mei. Heading upstairs within, as he enters his office, he soon notices Himiko, basically in one side of the chair. However, there's another person sitting in front of his desk, as it being that of a quite, tall and beautiful heteromorph woman that looks like a mixture of a fox and a shark, with that of long blonde hair, a orange plaid shirt and blue jeans. As she's soon saying, hello, it's nice to meet you. Miss Toga says that you're in charge of this place? With Izuku saying, yeah, I am. It's nice to meet you, Miss, Josei. Ipan Josei. It's a pleasure. With saying, yeah, Izuku Midoriya. As he walks over to that of his desk chair, leans back, putting his feet on the desk saying, so, what do you need from Devil May Cry? But her feeling a little bit nervous, but feeling as she was finally able to speak to that Izuku. However, she doesn't know how to say it. And then Izuku saying, hey, take your time, no need to rush. I'm not going to, saying, no, thank you, but I need to say this. I'm willing to pay any amount if it needs to be taken care of. Saying, well then, go ahead. Tell me what you need. But her sighing, saying, I want you to kill my boss. With then, soon everybody in the room completely and utterly shocked. With Izuku saying, I beg your pardon. I want you to kill my boss not because of him being a bad boss or anything. even though he is, it's because, well, I found out the truth. You got within Himiko saying she found out about that of our password. Within Izuku saying, so she wants us to kill. Within as the girl known as Ipan basically nods saying, I want you to kill my boss, who I believe is a demon. With Izuku hearing that, he couldn't help but smirk saying, so then, Miss Josei, give us all the juicy details about your demonic boss. Giving off that of a smirk. However, but when in looking at that of Izuku, when Josei seeing him smirk, she can't help but think he's kind of adorable. As the Devil May Cry team have another job on their hands. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, hope you guys enjoyed this actually. About how, well, Izuku wasn't given his all during the Quirk apprehension test. Basically not using a single one of his devil arms or styles to get the upper hand. Because again, his demon physiology is all he would need for that. He doesn't need to basically go all out on something so tedious and pointless. And it's that very reason on why he called out Aizawa on his bullshit. Not to mention, yes, Aizawa had a run-in with Vergil in the past. Given on who Vergil is, it wouldn't be too surprising he would have. So yeah, not to mention the person who wanted to speak with that of the crew being that of Ipan Josei. Also, a bit of a heads up, I'm going to be making a poll for her after this part actually, so you guys can decide on what I should do for her, given that I want to have her an important role in this what if. So with all that taken care of, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, if you like my content, please go to my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below if you want to support me. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox.
Take care.
If you like Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell. And check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!